Okay, so we're almost at the end now. First, we're going to talk about the reproductive system. First up, the reproductive system is relatively inactive in humans until puberty. Then the overall function is to produce offspring. Female reproductive system is slightly more complex than the males, and the structures perform very different activities. First, we're going to talk about the female reproductive system, and then we'll go into the male reproductive system. So, the female reproductive system includes structures such as the ovaries, the fallopian tubes, the uterus, the vagina, and the mammary glands. Breaking each of those down, the ovaries are the primary female sex organ that secretes the sex hormones estrogen and progesterone. Within the ovaries are immature egg cells that develop over time in response to sex hormones. LH, which is secreted by the pituitary gland, stimulates the ovaries to typically release one egg per menstrual cycle. LH was that luteinizing hormone we talked about with the endocrine system. The fallopian tubes. The fallopian tube receives the egg from the ovary and transports it to the uterus. Incidentally, fertilization usually occurs in the fallopian tube. To transport the egg, the smooth muscles of the fallopian tube uses the system of peristalsis to encourage the egg to move towards the uterus. And ciliated cells along the lining of the tubes rhythmically sweep towards the uterus. And remember, the cilia is the little hair-like structures. Then we have the uterus. This is the organ that serves as the incubator for the growing fetus. It's constructed of 3 layers. The inner layer is a lining of mucous membrane called the endometrium. The thick middle layer is the myometrium. It is made of smooth muscle that expands to accommodate the growing fetus and rhythmically contracts to deliver the baby. And then the outer layer of the uterus is a serous membrane called the perimetrium. Had to think about that word for a second. Okay, the next structure in the female reproductive system is the vagina. This is the muscular tube that connects the uterus to the external environment. It provides a pathway for sperm and becomes the infant's birth canal during delivery. Mammary glands are modified sweat glands that produce milk and release it through the nipple to provide nourishment for the infant. Estrogen and progesterone promote breast development, and the PRL stimulates the initial production of milk, and oxytocin stimulates the continued production of milk as well as the release of the milk or the letdown. And the PRL that we discussed also with the pituitary gland, that's the prolactin. It's similar to the growth hormone. So this is the structures of the female reproductive system. And then a video on the female reproductive system. We'll pause, let you watch that, and then come back and we'll talk about the functions. Okay, so the functions of the female reproductive system. And it's going to include production of sex hormones. Those are the estrogen and progesterone. The estrogen promotes the maturation of the eggs and helps to prepare the uterus prior to implantation. And progesterone maximizes the ability of the uterus to maintain pregnancy by promoting blood vessel and gland formation in the uterine lining and inhibiting contractions of the uterus to prevent miscarriage. Now, secondary function of the female reproductive system is it produces and releases the ova, or simply the egg. They start out as immature cells in the ovary and mature over time. Ovulation is the process where is the release of the mature egg from the ovary that is stimulated by a hormone called the luteinizing hormone, or the LH. The functions also include incubating the growing fetus in a safe, nurturing environment, which is where said that the actual incubator is the uterus. We deliver the infant through the vagina, through the birth canal, and the placenta works to nourish the infant. Okay, structures of the male reproductive system includes the testes, the duct, and the accessory male reproductive organs, which are the external genitalia. The accessory male reproductive organ and the external genitalia. For the testes, there are 2 testes. Each are about 1.5 inches long and 1 inch wide. Outside, they're encased in fibrous connective tissue. Inside, they contain structures that form sperm and testosterone. The epididymis is where the sperm matures. It's the beginning of the delivery system for the sperm, and it starts in the testes. It's very important. We see epididymis show up quite a bit. That's where the sperm matures. The ducts. Mature sperm travels through a series of ducts in quest of the ovum, or the egg. The epididymis, the ductus deferens, and the urethra. The smooth muscles in the ducts propel the sperm toward the external environment with the peristalsis action. Accessory male reproductive organs. Accessory organs produce everything in the semen except the sperm. The seminal vesicles, bulbourethral glands, and prostate gland all secrete the fluids containing sugar, vitamins, and enzymes. These components of semen nourish and activate the sperm, as well as cleanse the urethra prior to the sperm delivery. The prostate gland wraps around the beginning part of the urethra. It has a smooth muscle wall that contract during ejaculation, and the force of the contraction aids in the expulsion of the semen. External genital. This is the penis. It is one of the external, or is the external genitalia. It is responsible for urination and delivering sperm to the female reproductive tract. There's 3 areas of spongy tissue that fill with blood during sexual arousal and cause the penis to become erect. The parasympathetic nervous system can trigger erections unrelated to sexual stimulation. That is very important with massage therapy. I know we've seen movies and stuff where male clients get aroused during massage. It's not necessarily that they are aroused due to you or to any other sexual response. It's a normal part of the parasympathetic nervous system. So if a male client does get aroused, do not make a big deal out of it. Do not freak out. Do not tell them you cannot be their massage therapist or anything. Them getting an erection is not the problem. It's how they handle the behavior with the erection that can become the problem. Now, if they do anything or say anything out of the way to make you uncomfortable, then of course you end the session. But you do not have to end the session just because they get an erection. That's just part of the job. It means you've induced the parasympathetic nervous system. It's nothing to freak out about. It's normal. Reassure the client that it's normal. Most of the time they're completely humiliated if it's the first time they've ever had a massage, or the first time they've ever received first time they've ever had an erection during a massage process. Okay, so the scrotum holds and protects the testes. It's the second of the external genitalia. It maintains their temperature below the normal body temperature to avoid overheating the sperm. Muscles raise and lower the testes as a protective mechanism, so the wrinkled scrotum skin allows this movement. So this is a diagram of the male reproductive system. And a short video for you to watch on the male reproductive system. Then we will move on to the functions of the male reproductive system. So functions include producing the sex hormone testosterone. This testosterone is produced in the testes. It stimulates development and maturation of the male reproductive system. It stimulates sperm production, and it also results in some secondary sex characteristics in males, such as the deeper voice, bones thicken, skeletal muscle enlargement, and more body hair, especially in the axillary, the facial, and the pubic areas. And then the second function of the male reproductive system is to produce sperm. Millions of immature sperm are produced daily in the testes and are pushed through the testes with the peristaltic smooth muscle contractions and arrive at the epididymis to mature. Remember, we talked about the epididymis being on imblex or popping up on imblex a lot, and that's just the area where the sperm cells actually mature. So mature sperm contain mitochondria to produce ATP, which is chemical injury, and each is equipped with a flagellum that it uses to propel itself through the ducts and into the female, which it can do only with the form of ATP. A couple of videos on that process, and then we will continue on. So the effects of massage on the male reproductive system: it increases circulation to the reproductive organs, it enhances delivery of the nutrients and removal of waste, and increases production of oxytocin and serotonin. These are involved in mood regulation. Also, smooth muscle contraction and possible sexual arousal during the massage is common as part of the parasympathetic nervous system again. And you just need to be prepared on how to manage. And again, just don't overreact. It is a normal part of the parasympathetic nervous system. So finish your activity at this point. Watch any videos or repeat any videos if you need to. And make sure your visual aid includes the major components of the reproductive system, both male and female, the functions of the reproductive system, and the effects of massage on the reproductive system. Okay, so a couple of pathological conditions in the reproductive system. First up, we have breast cancer. Breast cancer is a malignant tumor growth in the breast tissue that can spread to the skin, the muscles, the lymph nodes, and the rest of the body. Men are also diagnosed with breast cancer. And breast cancer is characterized by small, often painless lump or a thickening of the breast tissue. Contraindications locally in areas affected by edema, surgery, soreness, or numbness, and in lymph nodes. Obtain clearance from a physician because massage can be controversial. Most studies now are proving that massage does not spread cancer. It's not going to cause cancer to grow. You just never want to massage specifically over the cancer, the tumor itself, and whenever there's lymph node involvement, as we talked about briefly with the lymphatic system, you have to take special precautions with that. And typically, whenever you work on someone that is a cancer survivor or actively has cancer, you need specialized training. The cause of cancer is unknown. Treatments include chemotherapy, surgery, radiation, and hormone therapy. And then there's other alternative treatments that people are seeking out more and more. Prostate cancer manifests as urination problems in the early stages and blood in the urine, painful ejaculation, and then bone pain in the later stages. Contraindications, again, locally in areas affected from edema, surgery, soreness, or numbness. Obtain clearance from physician because massage can be controversial with anything with cancer. We do not massage the prostate. We do not massage directly over the prostate, so it's really not even a concern of ours in massage therapy unless you have a specialized certificate in massage. But even me, as certified as a cancer therapist or an oncology massage therapist, you still don't massage the prostate or directly over the prostate just because that's not within our scope. The cause, again, of cancer is unknown. Treatments, again, chemotherapy, radiation, hormone therapy, surgery, the typical for cancer. They have to remove it to actually cure it. There's no cure for cancer. The only way for someone to truly say they're cured is if they have surgery and have it removed. Then finally, with our last pathological condition with the reproductive system, we have pregnancy. This manifests as nausea, vomiting, loss of balance and coordination, destabilized pelvis, and general discomfort. Also, you have a parasite growing within you. Contraindications can vary depending on the trimester and the presence of complications. Typically, massage is safe for a pregnant client as long as there's no previous problems with previous pregnancies or with this current pregnancy. Indications: massage is going to reduce stress and discomfort. And that ends our section on the reproductive system. So again, rewatch any videos you may need to. Make sure you have your visual aid ready to go and emailed in, and complete the quiz in this section in the Versal app. And we will continue with special senses next.